Artio here, and welcome to the final show of the week. It's the one-off hit wonder album, and today it's part one of the Jon Lord story. Jon Lord won the poll that I set a few weeks ago, and we're going to start looking at Jon Lord. We've got the Artwoods to look at, Deep Purple, Ashton Lord and Pace, Ashton and Pace, White Snake, and then he's done so many live solo albums. A lot of them are live, so we're sort of going to have to do a few live 2 shows for that because it'll be too much. We're going to look at his studio solo stuff and his live stuff because he did lots of live stuff. Not going to include the Gemini Suite live and the rock concert because I will do at some stage Deep Purple live album ranking on a Friday. So that's, if you wait, thought I'd let you know that's how we're going to do it, because the Deep Purple live collection is a fantastic collection anyway, so we'll tidy it all up eventually with that show, because we've got Rainbow to do as well with Richie Blackmore, and so this is quite a big one, but we're not going to do it after each other because we'll get bored. As I said the other day, once I've done Jon Lord, we're going to do Jeff Lynne, and then we'll go back to the Purple family. Okay, so Jon Lord had played on various bits. I mean, he's played on with the Kinks, he's played with Face, he's played with everybody, but this is the first band that he was in, I do believe. If I'm wrong, someone put me in the right direction. The band he joined was called the Artwoods. This is an English rock band formed in 1963 and were professionally active between 64 and 67. They were a popular live attraction, rivaling the Animals, no less. They did just release a few singles and an album, but those record sales never really reflected the popularity of this band, which was a great shame because they were a really good band. I hadn't heard much of their stuff. I heard the 1 or 2 songs until this. I thought, right, I've got to listen to the Artwoods. Never really heard them, and I was very surprised, and I love it. So who is in the Artwoods? Well, it's the bass player was a guy called Malcolm Poole. Drummer was Keith Hartley, who went on to work with John Mayall. Guitar was Derek Griffiths. No, not the Derek Griffiths that's in the Up Pompeii film and Up the Chastity Belt and Play School. Not that Derek Griffiths. Obviously on the keyboards was Mr. Jon Lord. On vocals was Arthur Wood, or known as Art. Now Art is actually the older brother of the one and only Mr. Ronnie Wood. Faces, Small Faces and Rolling Stones. So that's a small world. Okay, the album they released was called Art Gallery, and it was released 1966, so it's 55 years ago. Old as me, dearie me. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the tracks, because they are some really good tracks. The first one is called Can You Hear? Written by Alan Toussaint, sorry. It's a nice bluesy track. I think a lot of these are covers. Nice bluesy rocker, and Jon Lord's keyboard playing already, he's poking his head through the parapets and sounding great. Great track, and he plays really well on there. Then we get a great version of Down in the Valley. I love this track anyway. This is a stunning track again. Jon's keyboards are so prominent in this track. Even as a young man he was good, and we know where he went, but boy, excellent stuff. Let me get Things Can Get Better. This was written by Floyd Cropper. It's just a bit of a 60s pop song, this one is. John again, it's not so prominent on this track, but he's there and you can hear him. Let me get Walk on the Wild Side. This is a great track. Anyway, John Lord, the young John Lord, dominates this. My favourite track on the album. Got that bluesy Hammond organ, which we all come to love. Terrific track. I Keep Forgettin by Lieber and Stroller. Another solid blues track, of course. John Lord again. That keyboard sound is dominating the track. This band was made for him. You know, blues keyboards always sounds fantastic. Keep Lookin. Another great old tune. Start of this is quite good. He's in a church. You get Arthur being the preacher, and then it goes into this funky blues number, and it's brilliant. One More Heartache, another classic song. Bluesy rocker, not much keyboard in it, but it's a solid track. Work, 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 another great blues track, pretty decent, and very subdued keyboard in this one, very good. Be My Lady, this has actually got some nice guitar work in this one by Derek Griffiths. Not a bad guitar player. Then we get, if you're going to make a fool of somebody, James Ray, but it was made really famous by Freddie and the Dreamers. It's not a bad version of this. Stop and Think It Over. John's playing the piano on this one. Very, very good. And then Don't Cry No More, another classic track. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. If you love the blues as much as I do, I can't believe I've never heard this. Shame on you, Iain. But the album is very good, and John Lord's work on this album is superb. He dominates this album all the way through. You know, this was a very young John Lord, of course, and as we know, he went on to great things. But a solid start if this is your first album you made. And I'll give it an RTO ranking of 8.5. After that, he drowned the Flower Pot Man, but there is nothing of them recordings of them. I can't find them, so we can't talk much about them. He was in the band for a little while, and then of course he went off and went into Roundabout. That weird and wonderful Chris Curtis idea. 3 band members and people getting on and off the Roundabout. But that all became Deep Purple. I will talk about them next week. So that was the first of the John Lord story. Part 2 next week, of course, will be Deep Purple. I'll do the whole, ranking the whole of the Deep Purple albums, because there's only about 4 or 5 that John doesn't play on. But I'm going to, because they are my favourite sort of rock band type thing, so we'll have a good look at them. So that's it for the week. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday, as ever, and we will be looking at the albums of Symphony X, the progressive rock metal band from the United States. And as it's Halloween week, classic album next week is Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare. So have a great weekend, everybody. I'll see you all Monday. Take care.